Here comes the option. Belton kept it himself, 40, 30, 20-yard line. They're not going to catch him. 5, touchdown, Shon Belton. And the Citadel Bulldog quarterback goes 47 yards for the score. Shades of the spring game for Shon Belton, the backup QB.
Well, he showed you that earlier this year, and that time he takes that option off the right side. I don't think he got touched, Mike. All the way to the end zone, about 47, 48 yards out. Dogs now with 496 yards rushing.
How about that? Citadel Sports Network, Shon Belton, former Lugoff-Elgin Demon, gets his first collegiate touchdown on just his second touch of the game. That was in the fourth quarter as the Citadel Bulldogs defeat Davidson by a score of 69-0. Mike Legg, the play-by-play man on the call. Lee Glaze, the color analyst you also heard there on the Citadel Sports Network out of Charleston. Big shout-out to my dear friend Jay Harper out of Charleston. He runs the pregame and halftime over there for the Citadel Sports Network. He was able to give us that call. That's great. Shon Belton, first collegiate touchdown with the Citadel Bulldogs. One of the best players to come out of Lugoff-Elgin. I really want to do this more and catch up with former Demons, former Bulldogs, and former North Central Knights, and wanted to start it with that because I saw this all over social media and thought I'd jump into the action, see if I could get that play-by-play call, and I did. And then I caught up with Coach Derek Belton, who's now over with the Camden Bulldogs, one of the assistants there. And Derek, obviously being family, having that Belton name with Shon, was a big part of the recruiting process in getting Shon over to the Citadel. There were a lot of schools looking at Shon, Charleston Southern, Newberry. I actually ran into Shon during his visit at Newberry and had a good time talking to him there. Just a wonderful young man, great kid, and wanted to catch up with Derek Belton and just give you the story about how Shon's doing now for the Citadel Bulldogs. Here's my interview with Derek Belton earlier this week. Tyler Cup here in a familiar place with a familiar face here with one of the assistant coaches for the Camden Bulldogs, Derek Belton. I want to make this, though, about Shon Belton. This is why we're sitting down and doing this. And Derek, you were a big part of the recruiting process with Shon Belton. We just heard the Citadel play-by-play call, Shon scoring on the second touch, his second touch of the game to score from 48 yards out and getting his first collegiate touchdown. I want to talk about that process with Shon and his career and where he is now with the Citadel Bulldogs. You were there for that game with Shon and seeing that had to just make your day there.
Oh, yeah, it was real exciting because, not many opportunities come to a redshirt freshman where he gets in the game and, on the second carry he goes untouched for a touchdown. That's kind of been the tale of Shon's career because if remember back when he first got in the quarterback when he was at Lugoff was in the Jamboree against Andrew Jackson. Yeah. And the very first time he touched the ball, he was untouched to the house for a touchdown.
That's right.
And, his second carry was kind of the same. It was a rollout pass to the right and nobody was open, so he decided to run left, and he scored again. So, that's kind of been the tale when he wants to make a debut or a name for himself. He feels like he needs to go out and score on a touchdown run.
Let's talk about the recruiting process for Shon. You were with him. I remember you texting me, and we were exchanging messages when you guys were visiting the Citadel on that visit, getting ready for him to see the sights and everything with the Bulldogs. What drew him to the Citadel Bulldogs before we get to some of the other things that led him there?
Well, the biggest thing, they wanted him to play quarterback. A lot of people, App State and Wofford and Newberry, those guys were talking about maybe him playing a safety or a wide receiver. And, the Citadel was the only school that said, Shon, we want you to play quarterback. And we felt like that's what he wanted to do and that's what he wanted to be as a football player. So we chose the Citadel, not to mention the school education aspect of it, which is great for him.
Yeah, and again, I said this in the pregame. Shon Belton's obviously not going to go down as one of the best Demon quarterbacks in terms of win-loss records, but in terms of his heart, he did put up some numbers there. Certainly one of the most athletic, one of the most gifted athletes to come through Lugoff-Elgin there, and it was good that he did get a lot of, you mentioned some of the schools. I remember seeing him at a visit in Newberry. I went to the homecoming game. I saw him and Imani Payne there. We sat next to him and talked to him, and I think Charleston Southern was another one of those schools, but seems to really like Citadel and really that Charleston atmosphere too.
Yeah, it's a great place to be. I mean, we all know as being adults how good Charleston can be. But, with him going to school and, we don't ever have to worry about where Shon's going to be on a, Monday night or Tuesday night, because I know at 9:30, 10 o'clock, he's going to be in his dorm room in the bed instead of being at a bar somewhere hanging out or at somebody's house, doing keg stands or what have you. So, it's just great to be at a school where, he's going to be fine educationally and socially.
Talk about what's next for Shon. Obviously that touchdown should be a taste of things to come. At least hopefully fans in this community can look forward to that. And even for the Citadel Bulldog fan base, where do you kind of see his career there with Citadel in a year or two?
Well, the biggest thing is, him obviously doing his classwork and staying eligible. But obviously he's got to continue to learn the offense. They run, I know it's weird to say, but in the flex bone, they run hurry up, no huddle. And they're signaling plays, and they have meetings, and he has to learn a lot, reading defenses and being able to check into the right play. So, he's got 4 years of football left to play. So we don't expect him to start as a sophomore or junior, with the quarterback situation, because Dom, who's in front of him, is actually a sophomore, I think. And so it's going to be fun having quarterback competition and watching Shon, mature through that process.
Take the family aspect out of it. You are family with Shon. Bring me into the coach's perspective. What do you see him as a player? Certainly he's gotten bigger. I saw that film of him with the touchdown. Yeah. Certainly he's gotten bigger. He's been in the weight room, conditioning and all that. But as a coach, what are some of the things you'd like to see him get better at? What are some of the things that he's already gotten better at in just a year being away from Lugoff-Elgin?
He's still got, to learn the read defenses, knowing who to read the pitch guy will be, whether it's, the 5 technique, the 7 technique, or the 9, whether it's the safety, whatever. They go through all those checks and reads and knowing whether he's got a loose linebacker on the weak side or, different things he's got to learn to read. And that's the biggest part of his problem right now, is reading the defense and determining, where the check to play, right, where the play should go, and, who he's pitching off of. And you're going to have that problem with that. He's still 19 years old. So, he's got a lot to learn in that area. But as far as the athleticism and football skill level, I think he's as good as they got.
Last thing, I personally think you look pretty solid in the black and gold on Friday nights. But on Saturdays, you go to the sky blue, powder blue. Have you already got a lot of Citadel merch already? Yeah,
we do have a lot of Citadel merchandise. The kids, Isabella has a cheerleading uniform that she wears, and Gabe's got his Citadel jersey. We have Citadel shirts, hats, and, we kind of go between garnet and black for Carolina and then the Citadel blue and white. So, it's a fun time changing colors all throughout the week in the house.
He is Derek Belton. Derek, thank you so much for sitting down and talking a little bit about Shon Belton and catching up with him. I'd like to do more of these, catch up with former Demons, former Bulldogs, and former Knights. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tyler. We appreciate all you do for sports in Kershaw County.
Back with more pregame right after this.